like crazy town.
It's quite crisp this morning.
Something I want to share with you today is the beauty of having many different ages and being part of a family. Welcome to my channel. I'm Danielle. I have 7 kids. Today we are just doing an example of what it looks like to do school in many different ways.
For our pies today, I am using the Joy of Cooking cookbook. Someone gave that to me before I got married, and it has been handy because it basically has everything in it.
Coming from a big family and having a big family myself, one of the things that I notice people are not used to when they come and spend time with us or they see us in an environment where we're all together is the amount of noise, which is perfectly normal for us because we're used to many voices resonating at the same time. But this is where you're going to be helping right there, so sit there. So I'm trying to be sensitive. Even in our real moments, I know not everyone wants to hear the amount of conversation that is happening. My kids are not quiet children. And though we endeavor to work on those areas of self-control where they can be quiet when they're asked, it is always a challenge because when one starts talking, everybody starts talking. Really, one of my favorite things about having a big family is the way we get to learn to work together and the way my children get to learn to be patient with one another, to be patient with the younger siblings. When you come into our home and you participate with us in our daily activities, you're going to see just a real life. My kids are going to be dirty because I believe that kids shouldn't be sterile. We have a very dirt-filled property. There's not a lot of grass. It's very deserty. So there is a lot of dirt. And the clothes they wear, I let them pick out their own clothes. If they can get dressed, they can pick out their own clothes if we're not going anywhere. And I have a plethora of play clothes for my kids, most of which are hand-me-downs. I've gotten them from yard sales or thrift stores because I don't want to have an attachment to things. You okay? You frustrated? That was her frustrated cry. I don't want to have an attachment to things so that I keep them, because of my neurosis, I keep them from just enjoying their childhood. Look at that face. Oh, case in point. As you can see, oh, you dressed up for the baking. Let me see your shorts. Wow. Stripes and collared shirt. We are doing some baking today, and they all know that they're going to get to help as soon as the baby goes down for a nap. It's night-night time. Pretty face, that's better.
I knew I wanted to make pies, but I intentionally chose this day with the mindset that I'm doing it with children, so I'm not going to be as efficient and things are not going to be as beautiful as they might otherwise be if I was doing them myself. It's really important for us moms to be intentional about this so we don't get frustrated and annoyed. So we are a homeschool family, similar to many other homeschool families. I've been doing this for 10 years, and I still find myself getting worked up over what we haven't accomplished and the boxes that I haven't checked. I still, after all this time, expect my kids' education to mirror a more formal approach. In the moments and the days I find myself frustrated at my children's progress and the laborious paperwork that has become, forgive me for saying it, devoid of true learning, I have to shake myself out of my own funk and do something different. Not plan a field trip or reconfigure my lesson plans. I do home things, sometimes fun, sometimes ordinary, and see how much interesting conversation and how much learning we can explore together. Talking through baking is a great way to learn in a practical way. Measuring, reading, and following a recipe, following instructions from me. Sometimes I do spelling words with them, but not often, because their spelling is not great. Oh, I'm drifting back into what is expected for their age and for their grade. I've been so conditioned by a pervading culture, even as I try to actively fight against it. Here I am, reminding myself that facts and figures have their place, but teaching them how to find answers by helping them organize their thoughts in order to ask intelligent questions and questions that, let's be real, they really want to know the answer to. I'm trying to do the reading lesson for my 5-year-old about 3 times a week, so we stay consistent and he doesn't forget all the letter sounds.
We picked apples from this big local tree that the owner said we could pick apples from. He wasn't going to harvest them. So a lot of them my kids picked, and they have bruisings and they've been dropped. So I am cutting off all the bruises. I'm picking through the apples to see the ones that are particularly messed up and the kids aren't going to want to eat, you know? And I'm just going to put everything with the skin in the crock pot. And then once it's all ready with all the spices and everything, I'm just going to make apple butter, put it all in the blender, blend it up. When I make stuff for my kids, things don't have to be perfect. As you can see, these pies, nobody else would probably want to eat these, but it's just a lot of kid hands and they washed them. All right, we are going to clean up so that we have a nice surface for when we're ready to roll out our pies. All right, we have our apples for the pies right there, right next to the printer. Wow.
Most of us learn better when more of our senses are engaged. And don't even get me started on how we remember in a much more vivid way when our experiences have smells attached to them or emotion attached to them. So why, when we are in our own home, and I'm talking to myself here, with the opportunity to utilize everything around us, do we as moms so often box our studies into the expected subjects? But if we really want to be crazy, cutting edge, and super brave, then we can allow a learning that connects knowledge with experience and application. That would just be way, way, way too crazy.
If you are going to get things done with your kids underfoot, you are going to have mess. Otherwise, let's be real. You get like an hour in the day, maybe an hour and a half when the children are occupied. I'm talking about, you know, when the baby's sleeping. My life, that's the way it is. So I have to be willing to involve them and have mess. And even, you heard it here, guys, embrace mess, because it's not going to be forever. And this is the season we're in, and we want to do this season well, which doesn't include having a perfectly clean home.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We really like having you around for our activities. If you haven't already subscribed, I would certainly love it if you would. And please like this video. Not all days feel extraordinary, but remember, no one can mom your kids like you. So just keep doing what you're doing. See you next time.
You like pie? Oh, I love
Don't.
pies.
I like
Look at her, look, try dress up.
Is that good?
Mm.
But you got close.